I feel like the nation's mummy's boy, and mum is like the queen of the UK.
How did your mum react to you trying to avenge her? And I just think of your mum going, don't really care.
She doesn't really give a shit, mate. She didn't really give a shit. Like, she was just like, cool.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Traitors Talk episode 5. We're talking about episode 10. Later on in this episode, we do have a special guest, so keep watching. So, Emmy, how are you feeling about episode 10?
Oh man, like Ross. Oh my God. Like he was the nation's prince. He was going to avenge our queen. He was gonna stir up all sorts of stuff. Harry did not know what he let himself in for. He didn't last 5 minutes. He did not.
It was the weird thing is like there was billboards of Diane, like actual billboards going, revenge tastes better than fizzy rosé, right? So I was like, okay, are they just having us on here because you don't know if they're doing it because there's going to be revenge, or you don't know if they're just trying to have us on. So they've like created this big story. Ross comes in and just sort of fumbles it all, bless him, and it's just. Yeah, and that was one of the best roundtables I think I've seen as well, because Harry's got the audacity to bring up conversations between traitors at the table.
Yeah.
And I just find he's got some cojones or whatever. Like
Harry is so confident, but he's been infallible. Everything he thought has happened has worked out the way he wanted it to. He's been amazing. Like, I'm like totally rooting for him to win. He deserves to win.
I'm rooting for him to win massively. I did from the beginning. I feel like I'm warming to Andrew quite a lot though. Like we've heard about his story last night about him being in a fatal car accident and dying at the side of the road and being revived. Like it's made me think actually this guy's had it hard, man. And he's been put in this position of being a traitor when he didn't really want to be one. So if he did win and Harry didn't, I don't think I'll be disappointed, but I'd feel sorry for Harry because he's putting a lot of hard work in. As long as the traitors win, I'm not that fussed, to be fair.
But Andrew's been playing a good game as well, you know. He's kind of been totally above suspicion the entire time because, you know, Harry's had his moments, like Giles is suspicious of Harry. Apart from the end of the episode with Ross, like, that was the only time that I think real suspicion's been put on Andrew's name. But I do think that Ross might have made it so he's lost it because I can't see them all throwing in the green little smoke bombs saying that the game is over with Andrew still in it, because I think there's now a question mark over his head.
Do you know what I think? There's two outcomes that I think could possibly happen, right? If Jazz and Molly get to the final, I feel like Molly's got these cogs in her head that are not quite spinning, but they're there. Like when she was talking about Harry knowing everything, she was like, Harry knew everything about Paul's plan, and she didn't clock yet that he shouldn't know too much of that plan. And I feel like Jazz could bring up the conversation that he had with Paul, or no, it was with Harry, then Harry told Paul. He might bring up that conversation and try and convince Molly at some point. And Molly could jump on that bandwagon, even though she's like completely in love in terms of friendship love with Harry. She's like his best mate, like I was with Hannah. I'm imagining this, right? Around the fire pit, there's 4 of them: Jazz, Molly, Andrew and Harry. Jazz brings forward his evidence on Harry, Molly jumps on it and Andrew jumps on it. They get rid of Harry, Andrew wins, right? That's one outcome that I think could happen. Another one is Harry's there. Harry's with Andrew and 2 other faithfuls. I think Molly will make the final, but I don't know who else. And then he goes, Harry thinks, actually, I've worked really hard at this. I'm going to just get out Andrew because I worked really hard and I deserve it. So he'll throw Andrew under the bus and he'll win the money. So I think they're the 2 outcomes. At the moment, in my opinion, I don't think that the faithfuls can win at this moment.
No.
Not especially after tonight. There's no murders after tonight. So there's 1 murder now, then 1 banishment, and then you've got your final, whoever, that's it.
They were looking at Molly, Zach, or Jazz for tonight. We'll already know when this episode comes out, but I think there's no way it's going to be Molly. I don't think so. It'll either be Zach or Jazz. And then I think Jasmine's been eliminated because everyone thinks that she was in it with Ross. So I think we're looking at Evie's in the final. I think Molly's most likely in the final, Andrew and Harry. And I think you're right. I think it's either going to be, I think there's no way that the traitors are going to lose it, but I think it's if Harry takes down Andrew or he lets Andrew win with him. I think it could go either of those ways. So I can't wait to find out.
I can't wait. It's going to be very interesting. I just feel like I think the Traitors are going to win. I wanted them to win from the beginning, but then it's weird because at times I'm like, I wanted Ross to avenge Diane at times. So I was like, come on, Avenger. And then it just didn't sort of happen. And I was like, it was such an anticlimax, but a climax at the same time. It was really weird.
I know. I mean, well, speaking of Ross, shall we welcome our special guest?
We have a special guest again with us. We have today Ross.
Hello, how are we doing?
So, Ross, you're out. How does it feel watching it back?
Oh, do you know what? It's such a mixture of emotions. Like, it transports you straight back to the moment. So I'm there. End of episode 9, I'm like, oh, I'm feeling a bit sneaky again. Then straight to breakfast, Zach's gunning for me. Oh, I'm feeling a bit like Rocky. I'm watching it with all my mates around me and they're going like, who is that guy? Like, surely you dealt with him. I'm going, it's just not the same watching it, guys, as it is being in the moment. Do you know what I mean? Part of it is that, and then part of it is actually, like, it was such a fun run. And the fact that I got to do it with my mum as well has just been amazing. So, yeah, a mixture of emotions.
Just going to say, it is like you're the nation's sort of hero right now. It's like, I feel like you're absolutely everywhere, you and Diane. How mad has it been watching this go down?
It's been insane. Like, we couldn't obviously have understood like how people were going to take us, and I feel like the nation's mummy's boy, and mum is like the queen of the UK. The magnitude of it is insane. I don't think we've quite comprehended it, to be honest with you. Like, mum's not on social media, so, you know, my siblings are kind of like doing a sterling job at making sure she's up to date with stuff. And, you know, we went into this like not truly understanding even like what we were getting ourselves into. We didn't necessarily I'm sorry to say, Wolf, mate, but like I didn't actually watch the entirety of season 1 before I came in.
All good.
Pockets,
Oh my God.
and I wish to God that I had watched the whole thing, because then I would have seen that like the traitors go around backstabbing other traitors, and that it can become this like ultimate fighting pit of traitors, and what you watch is like essentially just people backstabbing each other. I didn't know all that. So I'm like going, oh my, like the faithfuls are a team, and then we've got the traitors who are a nice little team, and you know, I didn't realize that they would just be going at it with each other. And I think maybe if I'd seen, and mum was the same, she hadn't seen the full thing either, so I think maybe if we'd seen it, you know, certain things might not have panned out the way they did. But our game plan was just to keep each other a secret, right? That was the game plan, and it's hard enough keeping that a secret and trying to have fun with it as well, and it not just becoming like a stale old thing that, you know, is just there in the background, trying to make it like a funny thing. So, and that's just
it definitely was funny.
Yeah, but that, you know, and that's just what our relationship is in real life. Like, we get at each other, we do little digs at each other, we can joke around. So I wanted that to come across on screen.
You talk about your relationship with your mum, right? When I watch other interviews, she's not really bothered about what people think or anything, right? It makes me laugh. So how did your mum react to you trying to avenge her? And I just think of your mum going, don't really care.
Well, she doesn't really give a shit, mate. She didn't really give a shit. Like, she was just like, cool. You know, I mean, obviously she knew what had happened, right? Because we had a debrief and stuff. So we just found it hilarious that obviously it was getting mounted to this massive thing. It was like Ross's revenge, da 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 da. But we're watching all this build, and like I'm chatting to mum going, the public are going to be severely disappointed because this lasts a grand total of 2 hours. So I think she thought I was going to at least get onto the final, right? Or going to win it, because she's obviously, okay, she goes back home. Then day 1, I've not rang her. Day 2, not rang her. Day 3, not rang her. So I think at some point she's going, like, you might go on to win this. And whenever then I did phone her, she just went, oh, for f***'s sakes. And I was like, yeah, not want it. She was like, we're going to take me on holiday. I was like, oh, not this time. I mean, I had it where the episodes are airing and it gets to episode 8, 6, 7, 8, and they're all going, I think you've won it, right? You've won it.
You do well.
It.
Yeah.
I went on a holiday to Mexico like a month ago with my girlfriend, and they're all going, you went on that holiday to Mexico. Where did you get that? Where'd you get the money for that? And I'm going, oh, I can't tell you, mate.
Going back to the round table, right? I thought you was going to jump up and punch Andrew in the face, bro. But the question I want to ask is, why did you put Harry's name down? Like, because he was the one who was sort of gunning for you, and he brought you in as a scapegoat. I think he did. And why didn't you put his name down? Obviously, if you could have, you probably would have said parting gift with that name, I'm guessing. But
yeah. It was one of those things where, like, I knew before that round table, man. Like, I knew I was going. After I got to breakfast and Zach had that theory, you know, at that point, everyone else jumps on whatever theory they can, as long as that theory is not about them, right? And the theory was plausible. Like, it was totally wrong. That day, I'm going round, and bearing in mind, this is day one. I've already got an agenda trying to like rock the shit with the traitors anyway. But then I'm also having, I think I even say it in one of the mivs, I'm like, this is starting to feel like damage control. I've got to, like, there's two things going on here at play. I've got to keep people at bay from just fully thinking it's me because of Zach's theory. And I've got to try and destabilize this stuff because I know that Harry and Andrew are throwing me under the bus, like, straight away. Like, you don't traitor at that late stage and not think that, oh, I'm just going to get in it for the last 3 days and get the money. Like, they're using and abusing me. So basically, we got to round table. I just knew I had to kind of fight for my life, but I didn't want to lose composure. And I knew Zach was going to like machine gun mouth me about his theory that he'd already said like 10 times that day. But also, I knew that I was going. I was like, I needed to find a way to bring Harry and Andrew's name into it. And Harry actually, aware or not, like, it was a mistake of him even saying anything, because I wanted an organic way of bringing the name into it. If I just suddenly just went, oh, I think, Harry, this is you because of blah, 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 when his name wasn't in my mouth, or Andrew, I think it's you, when I was never saying Andrew ever, it would just look sus. Like, it would look so sus. So I was trying to find the organic way of like bringing it in. And then Harry obviously was trying to just like hit the nail in the coffin, right? Like, I was already in the coffin and he was just trying to hammer it home and get his 10 And
he's
I was like,
ruthless.
He's ruthless. But in my head, I'm going, right, there we go. Right, that's a little bit of rope that I can just start yanking at now. But Harry is in such a strong position where, like, you know, he just has flown under the radar. He's been everyone's best mate. He's charming. He's lovely. Nobody's thinking of him at all, apart from Jazz, right? But
yeah,
in that moment, like, I had absolutely no idea that Jazz was thinking Harry, because he didn't tell me, because I'd lost his trust because I'd gone for him like a couple episodes ago.
So annoying, because you could have gone with him and like, supported his theory.
Yeah. And that's what I'm seeing on Twitter. Is like, Ross could have gone with Jazz, but in reality, there was not a whiff of Jazz thinking Harry. He did it all in his interviews, right? So none of us knew that was going on. So in my head, I'm going, obviously the whole elusive comment was with Andrew, and I'm like, right, I'll yank at this.
I've never heard him say elusive before. I've never heard him. Sorry.
Ignore him, or he just got PTSD, Wolf.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
I know, you just see my whole... like, Andrew says that he doesn't know what the word elusive means, but then he was like, oh, but Harry wasn't being elusive. And then my mate was like, but if he doesn't know what the word means, then how's he even... Why he's using the word in context, so how's that working? And I was like, I didn't quite cotton onto that one, because if I put Harry's name, he was just so under the radar. Also, and I'd have to say, like, I think it just would have ruined the game. Like, I didn't just want to be like, oh, right, here's the guy. Like,
yeah, I know how that feels, mate.
I know, mate. I know. And like, you got done over there, and I'd like, you want a little bit of like the game to actually play. So in my head, I'm going, okay, well, if I give them Andrew, hopefully they'll look into him, and then hopefully then Andrew will then bring Harry down. It will be like this snowball effect that I'd kind of like started in my like dying moment or whatever.
Really quickly before you head off, who are you rooting for? Who do you want to see win that cash?
Oh, it's got to be Faithful's 100%, hasn't it? Come on, I was like,
100%.
Okay,
Wow.
hired on my first day at the job, so being a traitor, so, you know, Faithful's all the way.
Thank you so much for joining me, Wilt and Ross in our latest episode of Traitors Talk. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and head over to hellomagazine.com for more news of Traitors, and we will see you after the grand finale to talk all about it. Can't wait. See you then, Wilt.
See you later. Bye.
Bye.
Everyone.